The 22nd Amendment was trending on X for the dumbest reason possible. President Trump is talking about running for a third term, and he clarified the other day that he is being serious. He's not being a stand-up comedian this time. That's right. He wants to go from being Grover Cleveland with his non-consecutive terms to being Franklin Roosevelt with more than 2 terms. And yeah, he's being serious. He's actually trying to put his middle finger up to our Second Amendment and say, I'm so special, I get a third term. It's time to make America great again. And a bunch of Republicans, a bunch of MAGA types are all applauding that. They're all saying, yeah, Trump 2028. Steve Bannon, he was one of the original Trump 2028 people. He's like, yeah, let's go. But the 22nd Amendment says that a president cannot be elected to more than 2 terms. Well, they think they've found a loophole. Is it a good loophole? No. They're talking about the idea that his current vice president, J.D. Vance, decides to run in 2028 for president, and he runs with Trump on the ticket as his VP. There's nothing that prohibits Trump from running as Vance's VP. So if they win in 2028, and by the way, that's a big if, let's face it. After 4 years of Republican governance, at least at the presidential level, I don't know if the American people are going to want to go to Vance after Trump. But let's say Vance wins in 2028, and he actually has Trump as his VP. Do you really think that this guy, J.D. Vance, is going to just resign and let Trump take office? The idea is that, Trump wouldn't be getting elected, and the 22nd Amendment uses the word elected to the presidency. He would be getting thrown into the presidency through alternative means, the same way that Gerald Ford was. Now, one important difference, though, is that Gerald Ford actually wasn't elected to the vice presidency. And so I wonder if the fact that Trump would have been elected vice president then would mean that he was basically elected to the presidency, and therefore he'd be precluded from becoming president, and someone else would become president if J.D. Vance resigned in that circumstance. Gerald Ford is often referred to as America's first unelected president, and that's basically getting at the idea that nobody voted for him to be vice president and nobody voted for him to be president. He wasn't on the ticket with Richard Nixon. Spiro Agnew was in 1972. And so Ford was just a representative from Michigan. So nobody actually voted for him in a federal general election. So I do not think that the Supreme Court would side with Trump in that situation. I do not think they'd let Trump become president. I don't think that J.D. Vance would step aside either. If he finally got to become president, would he really say, everyone, I am announcing that I'm no longer going to be president and we've got Donald Trump a third term? No, J.D. Vance loves the idea of power. He is salivating almost certainly at the idea of becoming the first millennial president in 2028 and enacting his own agenda, and probably quite a bit different from Trump. So, no, that's not going to happen. Constitutional scholars, you're probably all rolling your eyes right now because of President Trump's absurdity. Also, Donald, do you really want a third term? Do you really want that? You're going to go from 82 to 86 within your third term. Why not just go to the beach? You don't want to be a super old man working in the presidency. His brain is going to be totally cooked by the end of a third term. I shouldn't say is. His brain would be totally cooked by the end of a third term. Enjoy your retirement, dude, and be glad that you get to have it. Stop trying to cut people's Social Security and prevent them from enjoying a nice retirement, by the way. Tell your buddy Elon Musk to do that. So no, violating the Constitution isn't cool. Violating the Second Amendment is especially uncool because we don't want dictators and we don't want kings in this country. But maybe I shouldn't get so worked up about this because maybe it's just a distraction. Yet again, it would not be surprising. A distraction, talking about violating the Constitution, to distract from the fact that President Trump is currently violating the Constitution itself. So saying, hey, focus on my words and not on my actions. The Constitution's separation of powers are being violated as we speak by Elon Musk in the federal government, cutting spending without the approval of Congress. Congress controls the purse strings, not unelected bureaucrats. Well, he's not even a bureaucrat. Not unelected billionaires who the president happens to think are cool. So don't pay too much attention to this. Have a good laugh at it because Trump is so insane. Roll your eyes a little bit, but keep your eyeball on the highball. That is the Elon Musk, the constitutional violation saga of the Trump administration. That they're gutting programs that help the working class and trampling the Constitution. Trump loves talking about all the harm he wants to inflict upon the Constitution, and there's a reason for that. The reason for that is it distracts from the actual harm that he's doing at the moment. Just a thought. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, or subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. This has been The More Is the Merrier, and I look forward to speaking to you in my next video.